All of a sudden, we pop up in collegiate football. We got a heck of a team.
Seminoles have one of the most talented freshman classes.
I chose Florida State University.
Our top recruiting class this year, Florida State.
I'll be spending the next 3 or 4 years of my career at Florida State University.
Rams select
everything that you have, every rep.
Florida State University.
Florida State football, they're going to be back.
One of the great football programs in the history of the sport.
Dalvin Cook, former Florida commit, flipped to rival Florida State.
How do you quantify football hatred?
To take over the state of Florida. Beat the Gators again.
And he's going to be signing with Florida State University.
Florida State with another top 5 recruiting class.
Of the Bobby Bowden era.
DBU, Florida State, baby. I'm going to be signing to Florida State.
Winner is Jameis
What a throw by Wilson. It's caught.
taking my challenge to Florida State.
So a feeling could be gone. You want respect? You don't get respect. All that's left is to play football in Tallahassee.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. If that didn't get you fired up, I don't know what will. I am Bryant McFadden. I will be your host for this outstanding show we have for you guys, highlighting our newly signed players along with a bunch of great transfers that I can't wait to see running up and down Doak Cameron this upcoming fall. But before we get started, I got to thank our Seminole boosters for all the loyal support. Our passionate fans that have been with us through thick and thin. We love you. We love the support you guys have been able to give us week in and week out, in season, off season as well. And we just want to just applaud you guys for the job that you have done. And not to mention for the people that are watching us, if you love to get involved with Seminole Boosters, we have an opportunity for you guys to do so as well. You see there on the banner, the website. Please, whatever you need to do to feel comfortable in doing so, make sure you do your due diligence to understand what it means to be a Seminole booster and how important you are to all of us, me included. So like I said, we have a packed show for you guys. But to get things going, we got to bring in the head man in charge. Coach Norvell and his staff did an awesome job. First full season there with Florida State, being able to do some real big things in a very, very difficult, abnormal year, to say the least. Coach Norvell, I know you feel excited about the entire signing class along with the transfers. Tell us a little bit about what's going through your mindset right now, knowing that everything is over and now it's time to get back to the gridiron football.
Well, I mean, it's an exciting day, and it's a different landscape. Now with the 2 signing days, today we were able to add Destin Hill, wide receiver from New Orleans, one of the top players in the country. You're definitely excited about his addition to the program, and also it's a day to celebrate a lot of the newcomers. You mentioned the transfers. We've been able to bring in 7 guys here for the spring semester, and now they are just about a month within the program. It's just there's a lot of electricity within our players, our program, everything that we're doing here moving forward. I can tell you we're definitely excited about the spring ball coming up and what 2021 holds for this Florida State Seminole football team.
I can tell you this much, Coach. I'm excited. Anytime I watch anything Florida State related, the highlights, it brings chills through my body. And when I got an opportunity to be involved with this, currently I'm not at home. I'm here in Tampa getting ready for the Super Bowl, covering the Super Bowl for CBS Sports. But I told CBS, I need to be available for this hour to be able to host this event for Florida State, for Coach Norvell, for these players, because this means the world to me. And one thing that I want people to understand, when you go through Tallahassee, when you go through the program, that's not just short term. That's for life. That is for life. And that is the part of who I am as an adult, as a grown man, going through Tallahassee, learning the ropes, being away from home, academically being on my own and being able to uphold the standard is something that we all were required to do. And the standard is the standard. So I tell you this much, Coach, I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for these guys that we will highlight. And like I said, all of this is possible because of the work our boosters do. You know what I mean? They do a lot for all parties involved, including the student athletes. So I tip my hats to them. I tip my hats to you and your staff. And I can't wait to just get back to football. Enough with all the virtual meetings and everything like that. Man, it's time to get back to football, and we will do so in the near future. But I can tell you this much, Coach, man, you got some real good guys you will be coaching in the near future. And it will be a pleasure to see you do what you do on the sideline and smiling from ear to ear.
Well, you know, and just as we were watching that introduction video, and you know, today is such a great day, and you know, as you just hit on, the support of the boosters, but the experience for the players. I mean, you know, your experience here at Florida State and what you the role model that you were. You know, it's pretty special to see Kevin Knowles from MacArthur High School here on campus. You know, and you know, hearing the way that you were viewed and your experience and the success that you had not only as a player but now what you're doing. You know, there with CBS. And you know down there for the Super Bowl, but taking the time to give back to our program and to celebrate this great day and this new group of Seminoles that's coming in. You know, I appreciate you. I appreciate all the former players, the boosters, for making this happen, because great days are ahead for this program, and we're excited about the work that's going in to make that possible.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach, we're not going to hold you up long because we know it's about time for you to start getting in the playbook and dialing up some heat for this upcoming season. So we're going to let you get back to your duties, but we applaud you for the job that you've been able to do. Our next segment, though, is brought to you by FSU Credit Union, the official credit union of Florida State Athletics. Now it's time to bring in Coach David Johnson, the recruiting coordinator for Florida State, a guy that's well known throughout the recruiting world in college football. He's done a phenomenal job. The first signing day period, he did a phenomenal job. The second signing day period. And the thing that I like about Coach Johnson, he understands what it means to have the recruiting pipeline established. You know what I mean? And he's starting to establish recruiting pipelines in the areas that we need to be able to tap into. And we will talk a little bit more about that. But Coach, man, tell us a little bit about, you know, your views about the guys that you brought in, along with what we talked about earlier in the first signing day period. But you smashed in real heavy with this signing day period, man, opening a lot of eyes with some of the things you were able to do. Tell us about how you're feeling about the newly signed players.
I think we're feeling really good about them. We definitely needed some playmakers, and we needed some guys, like you could keep saying, we need some guys who understand the standard, because the standard is the standard. You know, we're going to make sure we get these guys and get the team to the next level. Some really good workers. We had Hill signed today, which is really big for us, really big time playmaker. And that came down to the wire with a lot of different schools. But we were really excited about it. And the kids that we have coming in, different transfer kids. So we just ready to get rolling.
Yeah, and speaking of Hill, I mean, talented player from out of the state of Louisiana. I think he was the number 4 player in the state, if I'm not mistaken. He had quality options. You know, he had quality options from the who's of who in college football. But he decided to come to Florida State. You know, at what point did you realize, you know, we got a legit shot in getting Hill to Tallahassee?
Once I got here with Coach Norvell. One thing about the head coach, he understands exactly what he wants. He's going to build a true relationship with those guys. And as Fat was coming on, that's what we call him. When he came to campus and he got a chance to talk to Coach the first time, he knew we had a plan for him. So that's when I knew, hey, we have a shot. We have a chance. And with your offensive coordinator, you know, Kenny Dillingham kind of dialing things up and understanding where he fits in our offense. And we showed him the plan. So once we had got an opportunity to show him the plan, he was kind of dialed in, and we knew we had a chance.
Yeah, and speaking of Hill, I think, you know, our Florida State fans and all the boosters, they would love an opportunity to see what he's looked like out there on the gridiron. Now, granted, you will see high school highlights, and just envision the high school highlights in a garnet and gold uniform, because I think the same impact he had there in New Orleans, he's going to have the same impact for all of us in Tallahassee. So we're going to have a few quick clips of his highlights, high school wise. We dissect them a little bit, and we keep it moving. Now, one thing I like about Hill, his ability to create separation. I mean, you will see this a lot in his highlights. He's often behind secondary players. That's something that I love, especially seeing from young players and being able to attack the ball at its highest points. But like I said, creating separation, that's a huge, huge plus for any young pass catcher, especially for guys that are considered big-time playmakers. Yards after the catch, you throw a little quick hitch to him, he's able to make people miss and get positive yards. So that's a plus that I see from Hill early on in his high school clips.
And I think one of the biggest things is kind of seeing how hard he works. We had, we understood that part about him. He has very strong hands. He can track the ball well. And to be a big receiver and come, like you said, being able to have the ability to come in and out of his breaks, but catching the deep ball and kind of stretching the defense is really big for a big-time receiver. And he's been clocked at 4.3 at a number of camps.
Yeah, wow. That speed is something you don't have an issue with. The faster players you can get on your offense and defense, I think you're okay with that. And I can't wait to see Mr. Hill tearing it up there for us in Tallahassee and Doak Campbell Stadium, man. Coach Johnson, man, it's a pleasure having you here with us, man, dissecting the big get of the day. Destin Hill from New Orleans, your neck of the woods. So anytime you see some guys coming from Louisiana and New Orleans, you already know who had a lot to say in that player signing with Florida State. No other than David Johnson. Thank you for joining us, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. So the next segment is brought to you by Barrow Heating and Air, proud sponsor of FSU Athletics. Now, next up, we got a special segment for you guys. I mean, if you're a diehard Florida State fan, you know all about the history of the program. You know all about the elite, prolific like players that played there in Tallahassee, and you probably haven't seen or heard from them personally in a long time, right? And yeah, I played at Florida State, but we got some names that really played at Florida State. We got some iconic names joining us on this special show to be able to not just recap this signing day period for all of us, but also take us back down memory lane. I have a few stories as well about my signing to Florida State, but taking you guys back down memory lane. We, like I said, Hall of Fame like individuals from Florida State. Number one, he went number one in the draft, won the Heisman, probably one of the best quarterbacks to not just play at Florida State, but to play in the ACC as well. Jameis Winston, New Orleans Saints player currently, outstanding player, join us here on the show. Outside of the quarterback, and we know the quarterback gets all the love, right? That's the big emphasis offensively. But for a quarterback to be successful, guess what? He got to have some outstanding pass catchers receiving his passes. Now, Jameis didn't have an opportunity to throw to this individual, but I had an opportunity to cover this guy many a days in Tallahassee, especially them hot springs and them two-a-day practices we used to have. And this man used to give me hell, used to give everybody hell. Outstanding Florida State legend. I believe it potentially will get into the Hall of Fame as well. Man is like a brother to me. I've been knowing him basically my whole life, to say the least. Anquan Bolden is joining us as well. QB, Jameis Winston, man. We got Seminole Nation right now tapping into us. Bunch of Florida State fans, bunch of Seminole boosters. First and foremost, man, you National Signing Day. I know when I came out, the same can be said for Quan. We only had one signing day. I don't know, James, when you came out, if you guys had two signing day periods or one also. But I'll start with Anquan first, man. Quan, when you came out, you had to pick up the litter. You were the top player, not just in the state of Florida, but top player in the country. You know what I mean? But what made you decide to go to Florida State? What was the final say all for you in signing with Florida State?
Yeah, for me, man, I went to Florida State for the opportunity to win a national championship and eventually get to the NFL. I think if you look at Florida State at that time, I came in the class of '99. I mean, we played in 3 consecutive national championships. The year before I got there was against Tennessee. My freshman year, we won against Virginia Tech. And then the following year, we played Oklahoma for the national championship in the Orange Bowl. So for me, it was the opportunity, man, to play in those big games. I come from a small town here in Florida, in Pahokee, and that's all we known to do. We push out a lot of NFL potential athletes, and that was my goal, to play on the big stage and eventually, hopefully, get to the NFL.
And Jameis, the same can be said for you. I mean, when you came out, you was the #1 player in the country, can go to any university that you wanted to go to, but you chose Florida State. right? You chose Florida State. Tell us about that experience for you.
Yeah, outside of the obvious option that Anquan, the GOAT, said to win a national championship, first and foremost, but also just believe that playing baseball and excelling in football was one of my dreams, and I knew that Jimbo and Coach Mike Martin would give me the best opportunity to explore both of those options. So that was a huge reason why I chose to come and be a Seminole.
Well, QB, let's go back in time, because now, you know, technology is a little different, you know what I mean, than what it was when you came out. Take us through your signing day period. Like, what did you have? Because, you know, nowadays you got kids having like a whole media production behind them. They have national publications following them. They having all these YouTube, you know, signing day events and things like that. What did you have down there in Pahokee? Like you said, small area. How was your signing day? What was your signing day event like?
To be honest with you, man, my signing day event was so last minute because I honestly hadn't made up my mind. I woke up the morning of signing day and decided I was going to sign.
So who was it between? It was between Florida State and who?
It was between Florida State and Miami at that time. You know, both of those schools were giving me the opportunity to play, you know, the quarterback position, which is what I wanted to play coming out. Although Miami wanted me to graduate early and come in and compete for the job that spring, because they had Kenny Kelly, who was their starting quarterback, but he would go and play baseball in the spring. So they really didn't have a quarterback to come in for the spring and compete for the job. So that was something that I considered, but you know, it was between Florida State and Miami. And for me, it was right up to the last second. Like I said, I woke up that morning still kind of unsure about, you know, where I was going to sign. And then, you know, I had a couple teammates who also signed on signing day. So I went and joined them pretty much.
Okay. So Jameis, for you, you know, how was your signing day period? Because you're a bit younger than us, but tell us a little bit about your signing day experience.
Well, I held mine at where I trained at the training facility where my trainer was in Alabama. So it was kind of unique just being a player from Alabama, not being from Florida. So got a bunch of hate mail, got a bunch of threats and this, that, and the other because I had to lead a state. But it was challenging. But on that day, man, you know, it was between LSU and Stanford and FSU. I just was like, man, I know I'm gonna go to Florida State. Ain't nothing gonna be able to change my mind. You know, I had a bunch of friends hit me up, hey, man, you gonna end up going to Auburn or Alabama last minute? Let me know. And I was like, nah, I ain't gonna let Alabama or Auburn take me off the streets like they do everybody else. So it was just a simple thing. I just was grateful to have my family and stuff. It felt like I was going to the draft, man. The way everything was set up, it just was an amazing experience.
Yeah, I know for me, when my senior year was 1999, and for you Florida State fans out there watching us, y'all remember 99 season was unbelievable. So I was, you know, definitely Florida State was high on my list, and I'm similar like Anquan. It was between Miami and Florida State, being a South Florida kid, you know what I mean? So I remember Butch Davis came to my house, and he told me, he was like, yeah, I'm going to be here. I'm not going anywhere. And at that time, he started to really re-energize the Hurricane program. And I asked him, I said, well, Coach, if I sign with the Hurricanes, will you be there my entire time there? Oh, yeah, B-Mac, I'll be there. I'll make sure I'll be there. I just didn't believe him. So then when Bobby came to my house, first and foremost, you know, Bobby was a living legend at that time. Super hot in college football world, with Florida State being undefeated. Quan, you was a part of that team. He came into the house. So before we even got our visit started, man, everybody from my school knew that Bobby was coming to make a home visit to me. So we had like a mini signing period for him. He had to sign memorabilia that people from my school gave me. So teachers, my guidance counselor, the principal, assistant principal, they gave me a whole bunch of Florida State stuff for Coach Biden to sign. And I asked him, he's like, oh, be back, no problem. We signed it. So we talked about the whole situation and process. I said, Coach Biden, will you leave? Will you be there the entire time? He basically said, man, listen, I had every opportunity to go to the NFL. I declined. Tallahassee is where I wanted to be. Bam. That kind of sold me. But what really sold me when I saw Florida State play Virginia Tech in that Sugar Bowl in a national championship game. I was watching that game in the living room with my folks. Man, I seen Fleeta Peter, man, cutting bad up out there. Man, I see Anquan Bolden cutting up out there. Travis Minor, Jamal Reynolds, man, all the greats that I grew up just watching throughout my high school career, cutting up, having fun. I see Mickey Andrews with them sunflower seeds in his mouth, spitting out, cussing people out. I said, I need to have some of that in my life. I'm like, that is a different swag that Florida State had compared to what the other universities had. So for me, that's what sold me. When I saw that game against Virginia Tech, QB that you were a part of, and I just saw the swag and the confidence them boys were playing with, I need that. I need that in my life. Not to mention, I wanted to get coached by one of the greatest coaches to ever do it in Mickey Andrews. So that sold it for me. And next question for you guys, starting back with you, QB. When you got to Florida State, tell the people that are watching us a little bit about the experience. Because for us, I remember my freshman year, I'm playing against guys like you in practice, Javon Walker, Snoop Menace, Robert Morgan, Talman Gardner, great players. But tell the folks that are watching us a little bit about your personal experience, especially the game within the game when it came to practicing at Florida State.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that differentiated Florida State from a lot of programs at that time. Every day in practice was a game. Offense didn't like the defense, and my freshman year, we had Mark Richt, who went on to be the head coach at Georgia, and then eventually at Miami. He was our offensive coordinator, and then we had Mickey Andrews and Chuck Amato, who eventually became the head coach at NC State. They were the defensive coordinators. But for some reason, it seemed like they hated each other in practice. So, like a lot of teams, they come out with their scripts. The defense knows, what personnel we're going to be in, so on and so forth. Sometimes they know the plays. In our practice, we called practice just like a game. So we would have Mickey or Chuck Amato asking, what's the personnel? What's the personnel? And you got Coach Rick over there screaming, figure it out. Like it was competitive every day in practice. And I think that's what made us great. As a player, you look forward to Saturdays. Like Saturday was the easiest day of the week for us because we competed all week in practice. If the offense had a good day in practice, the defense would have to run. And I'm talking about it was ugly. And if defense had a good day, offense had to do the same thing. We had to run. I'm talking about, man, tongue hanging out your mouth.
Them gases.
Yeah. For us, we didn't want to lose, because we didn't want to run at the end of practice. You already have a practice with 30 plus periods. Sometimes if, practice isn't going the way Coach Bow wants, we can be at period 24 and he will make you start it all the way over from stretch. Yes. So, for us, it was, hey, look, we have to win the day because we don't have anything left after practice. So during those practice periods, man, we gave everything we had. Like I said, our practices were tougher than our games. We look forward to Saturdays because Saturdays was the easy day of the week. We knew that we were going to win. There was never a time where we stepped on the field and felt like, we weren't going to come out victorious. So, there was a lot of great competitions. You had a lot of NFL players on both sides of the ball. So it was definitely a great time.
Oh, no doubt. And speaking of NFL players, James, man, your first year starting at Florida State was spectacular. I tell people this all the time. They say I'm biased, but I think that 2013 team is probably one of the best teams to ever do it in college football. Tell us a little bit about your experience. First game against Pitt, you kicked down the doors, right? And that team, if I'm not mistaken, I think every starting player offensively and defensively got drafted eventually. But during that historical year in 2013, at what point did you realize as an individual you were going to really be in your bag the entire season, meaning dominating the entire season, and also in totality the entire team? When did you realize, like, we got something special here and we potentially can go all the way? At what moment did you realize that?
Yeah, B-Mac, I think it's the same thing that Anquan just said, man. Like, I felt this as soon as I stepped in on the field as a redshirt freshman, competing against those guys. I remember Bob Stoops was our defensive coordinator. You know, he used to call me Joe Montana because he used to get mad at me for shredding the defense, just being willing to take shots with guys like Xavier Rhodes, Brandon Jenkins, Bjorn Warner, Vince Williams, LaMarcus Joyner, Terrence Brooks, Ronald Darby, all of those guys. Like, I'm competing against them and I'm going at it with them, and it just was fun. And you know, and like Quan said, like, I think that's why we probably had the same result as them, because it was those same things as what y'all talked about with Coach Bowlen and offense and defense, pushing each other to the max. But one thing about our team that was different opposed to them is just because we were a little new school. I know they were used to that tradition and, you know, winning back and forth. Like, we had the year where we were so close in 12, and that 13 year we just was like, we went all in. We had some guys that, you know, was taking no for an answer, like leaders like Telvin Smith, you know, just dedicating his whole year to us, you know, going and winning the national championship. So when you have solid guys like that in your locker room, my center, Brian Stork, man, this guy had a freaking NFL tattoo on his arm, you know, so he was willing to risk it all to be out there on that football field. And we had so many guys play a very important role us having success there.
So when you look at, you know, the current state of the program, QB, I start first with you. You know, when you put on that garden and go, what did it mean to you? And if you had a message to the current group of guys and the newly signed players that we will highlight a little later, what would that message be? So, two-part question, put it on that garden and go. And even with you now being removed from Florida State, you know, what does it mean to you, and what message would you like to share with the current crop of Florida State players along with the newly signed guys?
Yeah, when we put on that garnet and gold, man, it was a symbol of pride. We knew that walking onto the field that we were the best team in the country, and not just because we had on Florida State gear, but because of the work that we put in. You know, at that time we were the school that invented mat drills. We had college head coaches coming to us to figure out, you know, what was the advantage? You know, what are these guys doing to make them that good? And man, we put in the work in the off season. So when we stepped on the field, we knew that we were prepared to go out and dominate whoever it was that you put in front of us. We were willing to play anybody at any time, anywhere, and we knew that we was going to come out on top. And I think that's the thing that the crop of guys that are at Florida State has to get back to now. Everything that you come across, you have to earn it. Nobody's going to give you anything. Nobody's going to lay down just because you're Florida State. As a matter of fact, that makes people want to beat you even more because of the tradition that has been established at Florida State, because of what the guys before you have done. Because everybody wants to state that as a claim. Hey, we beat Florida State when I was in college. So that's something that you have to take seriously. But you have to put in the work, man. The only way you're going to see the results that you want to see is if you put in the work. There's no substitute for hard work. I know it sounds cliche-ish, but even in the NFL, man, if you want to get to the top, you have to be willing to do the things that other teams aren't willing to do. And that, I think that's what made us great at Florida State at that time. We were willing to work you were there, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were working out when the coaches weren't around. You know, we held our own practice sessions.
In the summertime, one-on-one, 707.
Exactly. So, and for us, it was a brotherhood, man. Because of the work that we put in, we had trust in one another when it came down to the game. I knew that, you know, the guy across from me is going to do his job, and he knew the same for me. If a big play needed to be made, I knew, you know what I'm saying, somebody was going to step up and make that play because of the work that we put in the offseason. And I think a little bit of that has slipped. So guys have to take pride in their work. And once you take pride in your work and begin to put in that work off the field, I think it shows up on Saturdays.
No doubt, no doubt. Jamie, same question for you. You know, when you put on that garden and gold, what did it mean to you? And if you have a message for the current group of guys, what would that message be?
Yeah, man, B-Mac has been so challenging just following up behind Anquan, because it's the same thing. Like it's not like it's a magical secret to success. right? It's just putting your head down, trusting in the man beside you, and working. I remember when I first got in the NFL and I asked, Anquan, I said, hey, Anquan, how do you stay in shape? He said, hey, man, it's simple. He said, it's better to stay in shape to get out of shape and try to get back in shape. So guys have to be willing to work, not just during football season, but year round. We get a lot of hate and a lot of negative things talking about student athletes, right? But we know when we come into this institution, man, we come here to get our grades and we come here to play football. Anything outside of that, that's on your free time, man. But we all have dreams and aspirations to make this Florida State back to where it was, back to when Anquan was running touchdowns down the sideline and throwing touchdowns too. Back to when you was locking people up. Back to when I was throwing touchdowns to Kevin Benjamin to win national championships. Like that takes work. That's doing things that the people don't get to see. That's not posting a Instagram workout just so you can let your cousin from the South Side know that you're working. That's just doing it regardless. One thing I've learned about character is doing stuff that people like, they don't see you. Being able to be that same individual, being able to be that same grinder when no one is looking. And we looking for young men like that. I encourage this team and the next generation of Seminoles, to really focus on actions. Everything else, the words, all the what I'm gonna do with my first $1 million, all the dances, all that stuff like that, they can be out the window. Like, let's be about actions. Let's go. Let's put our money where our mouth is. Let's come to school ready to dominate school, and let's come to work, which is football for us, ready to dominate every opportunity that we have. And some people dream to be an NFL football player, just like Anquan and you be back. And some got different aspirations for other things. But regardless of what you're doing as an athlete, any athlete, you should be fully committed to your goal. And that's single tasking. Like, you're there to play football, I'm there to play football and get my grades and get out of here. If you're there to play baseball, I'm here to play baseball, get my grades and get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't lose sight of the mission. And as a team, as an organization, and all athletes know this, when you have a brother or sister standing beside you and y'all have that same goal, and that ultimate goal is to win the national championship, it has to be coercion. Everyone's mindset has to be parallel. During our time, we spoke about one team, one heartbeat. It has to be that. We have to have parallel mindsets to our main goal, which is to ultimately be national championships, because that's our creed. That's who we are as Seminoles, and be about actions and nothing else.
I mean, quality insight from two outstanding individuals, not just football players, but great people as well, emphasizing the same thing: hard work, dedication. A wise man once told me, you don't have to love the work, but you must love the results. And if you actually love the results, you're going to love the work, because the work got you the results that you're pleased and you're satisfied with. And I think that has to be the mindset going forward, because we all went to Florida State for the same reason, right? We saw individuals on our visit, whenever we visited Tallahassee, we saw guys putting in quality work, relentless effort, not just in the practice field, in the weight room, in the meeting room, but also in the game field as well. And I think this current group of guys, they understand the magnitude in which they currently are involved in. And I can't wait to see exactly what they will have in store. Hopefully these guys are watching and listening to you guys as well, because this is what Florida State is all about. You know what I mean? Quan is older than me, a year older than me. We're both a few years older than James, but we all come together under the same umbrella, giving the same umbrella-like statements. You know what I mean? Covering a lot of ground. So this is what Florida State is about. I mean, when you were Florida State, Quan, before you became an Arizona Cardinal, you were Florida State Seminole. You know what I mean? James, before you became a Buccaneer and the Saints player, you were a Florida State Seminole. That's never leaving you. That's always will be embranded in your soul. And because of that, we're always trying to do everything in our power to help keep the program relevant and staying consistent and persistent as well. Appreciate you guys for joining us, man. I hope Seminole Nation enjoyed this conversation. QB, we're going to let you go. It's always a pleasure seeing you. I know, James, you're going to stick around as we highlight some of these transfer players. And let's see, your analyst hat. Let me see what kind of analyst skill you have for us being able to highlight over some of these transfer players that we will tap into. But Quan, thank you for joining us.
No problem, man. Y'all boys take care.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So before we transition into the transfers and look at some of their highlights, I'd like to take a moment to once again thank the Seminole Boosters, the current crop of individuals that have joined the Boosters. If you would like to join, we have a beautiful opportunity for you as well. You will see the code with One Tribe Rewards code. It will be on your screen very soon. OneTribeRewards.com. That's the website to go to find information about potentially joining to be a booster. That's where you go. If you'd like to join, you see the code there, NSD21 for 500 points today. If you're not a member, you can become a member and jump on an opportunity with that promo code there, NSD21, and get 500 points today. It can go a long way. We both benefited from a booster being able to donate to our cause and helping us become quality individuals. And the same can be said for the current group of players there with Florida State. But right now it's time to transition back into the football aspect of our show. We got a talented crop of transfer players, Jameis. And the thing that I like about these players, these guys are well established. They were well established at their current football program, decided to leave for whatever reason. But guess what? They chose Florida State because they wanted to be here at Florida State. They wanted to be a part of this great thing that Coach Norvell is doing. And we're going to get a chance to highlight some of these players. The first guy up, Keir Thomas from South Carolina, South Florida kid coming back home to his home state. Let's check him out. Now, James, the first thing that I noticed when I watched Mr. Thomas, he reminds me a lot of your former teammate in Timmy Jernigan. I mean, a guy, clearly he has a single digit playing the defensive lineman, defensive line spot. You don't usually see that, but look at how he plays with his hands and being able to be disruptive on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. I think that's something that we definitely can benefit from.
You got to love that motor, man. Anybody that wears a single digit at the defensive line position, he means business. I mean, you just watch the way that he runs around that hoop. Oh, and he has a knack for the ball. Yeah, he's going to be a great addition.
No question. I know Coach Higgins can't wait to get his hands on him. Next up, Jermaine Johnson. Now, I can tell you this much about defensive end pass rusher Jermaine Johnson. When he walks off the bus, he will definitely make the all-look team. I mean, around 6'4", 6'5", 260, plays with a big-time effort. He has a motor, and he has the knack of getting back to the pass rusher, something that we definitely need to improve on. And I believe he will play a big part in our success in creating pressure and sacking quarterbacks.
Yeah, definitely, man. We can see his size. I think one thing that he needs to work at is his eyes, man. He needs to make sure he looks that quarterback in his eye before he rushes off that end, man. You know, defense wins championships, offense wins games. I think this guy's a player.
Next up, Jacquez Mcclellan. Another state of Florida kid coming back home, talented player, played a lot of big-time football for Arkansas in the secondary. He I think he was a starter as a true freshman, if not mistaken. One thing I like about him, searching for the ball. He's always searching for the ball. You don't usually see pass catchers creating separation against Mr. McClellan. He attacks the ball at his highest point as well. This is a guy that creates competition in our secondary. I think that's something that's needed, and he plays with a chip and an edge. Can't wait to see him in Garnet and Gold.
Man, I was excited just to see our secondary play last year. This is a great addition. Somebody, you know, he doesn't look as big, but has great length. I think he'll be a great job. I think he'll do a great job.
No question. Next up, Brandon Moore. Now, Brandon Moore has been around the game of football, it seems like forever. I mean, playing at UCF, a guy from the state of Florida as well. But the thing I like about Mr. Moore, he tackles. He plays with great base, low base. He attacks the football. And if you really want to see who Mr. Moore is, go watch the Fiesta Bowl against LSU. You see the highlight there. Clearly one of his best football games in his collegiate career.
Yeah, anybody that has a knack for the ball and also can come up and tackle. Man, you just look at this film, reminds you of Jalen Ramsey. And wasn't he a great guy?
Ooh, high expectations. Next up, Jamie Robertson. Mr. Robinson is like a tone setter. He's the raw guys that can going to get people going, but he plays with a lot of confidence. I mean, he played a lot for South Carolina last year, didn't have a lot of experience, but he gained it through the season, and he has a knack for being around big-time plays. Can't wait to see him in Garner and Gold.
I see an enforcer. I see a guy that's always around ball. It looks like he plays that nickel position, and you got to have guys that with a knack for the football and want to come up and make plays.
No doubt. Next up, Mckenzie Milton. I'm going to let you take over on this one, James.
Mckenzie, well, you know, the first thing you look at in a quarterback is his ability to win football games. And as you see right here, just one thing that he can do, and that's pull the ball down and run and get extra yardage. This guy's a champion. He's looking to bring the Seminoles, put the Seminoles back on top. He can make every throw on the field, and he also allows our offense to do everything that we can by running the football and making big plays with his arm.
Yeah, and he put up great numbers at UCF. If it wasn't for an injury, man, this guy would have probably been in that Heisman conversation throughout his career. But I'm hearing he's 100% healthy. I heard he's a great big-time leader as well. I can't wait to see him in Garner and Gold, adding competition to our quarterback room.
Absolutely.
Next up, DJ Williams. Now, when I watch DJ Williams play, he reminds me of what I would call a crock pot. He's a slow cooker, but very, very effective. He's a guy that can seal the deal for your offense. He can be known as a closer, not to mention the explosion that he has and the physical nature in which he runs the football with. I can easily see DJ just closing a lot of ball games for our offense because he has that type of running style.
Man, great forward body lean, can actually hit some afterburners and take it to the next level. Anytime that you can create a downhill running game with a great athletic quarterback, like we have with Milton, we're gonna be successful.
No doubt, no doubt. There you have our 7 transfers, man. Talented players that play meaningful ball at their past destination, their past stop, to say the least. Now they will be joining Florida. Actually, I think all these guys are currently there right now in the off-season program, getting ready for this upcoming season, this upcoming spring, to say the least. So I can't wait to see these guys in uniform. The next part of our show, we get an opportunity, me and James, we get a chance to have a Q&A with 2 of these outstanding transfers. First up, we're going to start in the Defakir Thomas will be joining us here, a Q&A with James and myself, man. There we have him, Mr. Thomas, right there, looking real good in that Garner and Gold, man. Number one, man, you're a Miami kid. I felt like you should have signed with Florida State the first opportunity. You decided to go to Columbia, South Carolina, made some big-time plays, but now you back home, man. How does it feel to be back in the home state? Most importantly, to be there in Tallahassee.
Man, it feels great, man. Like you say, I'm back home. I mean, it feel like home, and I'm happy to be here.
Hey, kid, I know that you love those leather seats that you're in right now, man. Me and B-Mac didn't get a chance to sit in those leather seats. We had
no leather.
Yeah. But I'm excited for you, man. You coming off off a senior year, right? I know you're ready to dominate, man. What is something that you think that you can bring to this team that you've brought to every team your entire life?
First off, leadership. That's what we need, and that's what I think I bring to the table. And just that dog, man. I just, like you say, I just can't wait to get at it with the rest of my teammates.
I'm happy to hear that, because football is all about the attitude. You know what I mean? You got to have an attitude. You got to be nasty, but within the rules, and having that dog-like attitude. I'm gonna just, dominate the person in front of me. So far, just being there on campus, and being around the current group of guys, what are you seeing with this ball club, especially as you guys go through this off-season regimen?
And I think we're gonna be special, man. But I don't like to talk before the season. I was never that type of guy.
Yeah.
I just, I see guys coming to work every day. I don't see a lot of back and forth with the coaches. I haven't seen none of that, and I'm happy to see that. And that's pretty much what it is, man. We at it right now.
Yeah, Kia. So you said you don't like to talk, but you said two things that I really like. You said leadership and dog, and you actually used both in the same sentence. So, of course, we know that you are ready for that action. But how are you going to use your leadership and your dog-like mentalities to help it multiply and spread it upon your teammates?
First off, I'm going to show that I could do what I'm asking them to do. And so I'm going to be here early. I'm going to be the last one to leave. I'm going to sit in the front. You know what I'm saying? Like, just things like that. I'm going to lead by example type of guy. And when the time comes, I'm going to say what I got to say.
Love it. Love it. Last question for you, Kier. Playing at South Carolina, man, and when people found out you were going to transfer, I'm pretty sure you had so many different opportunities coming your way. Teams, universities wanted you to be a part of their football program. But you decided Florida State. Tell us why.
Hey, man, coming out of high school, I went to Miami Central. So, I had guys like Devontae Freeman come through here, Dalvin come through here. So, we had that pipeline, you know what I'm saying? So, I wanted to be at Florida State, things happen.
Yeah.
And we here now. So, ain't no turning back now.
Hey, we happy you there. I know me and James, because one
Take
thing
advantage of opportunity.
When we were at our peak years, putting pressure on quarterbacks is something that we grew accustomed to seeing week in and week out. So
anybody from Miami Central on my watch, they good with me. I love my boys from down there.
Every player we got from Central has went on to do great things at Tallahassee. So the expectation is extremely high.
Hey, you gonna keep number 5? What you doing with that?
BG got number 5, one of the safeties. I'm gonna wear number 4.
Oh, you still keeping that single digit?
Yeah. Gotta have it.
All right. That's what's up. Best of luck to you, man. But appreciate you joining us here. Can't wait to see you in that garnet and gold uniform. In spring, actually, spring football. Spring game will be April 10th. Can't wait to see you terrorizing them offensive linemen. Don't let them up easy, neither. You make sure you dominate and give them hell every day you line up across from them.
Yes, sir. I'm happy to be here, man. Appreciate y'all for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bro. All right. Next up, we have Mackenzie Milton. But before we get to Mackenzie Milton, I got to definitely let you know who this segment is brought to you by. WCTV Eyewitness News, North Florida and South Georgia's #1 news source for over 60 years. WCTV Eyewitness News, North Florida, South Georgia, #1 in your books, #1 in our hearts. Next up, man, we got, I guess you can say the big name of all the transfers because of the job he did at UCF when he was healthy. Outstanding passer, outstanding football player. I can't wait to hear some of the questions you have for him, James, because when you talk about playing quarterback at Florida State, man, we got great guys that play quarterback at Florida State. You got the Chris Winkies of the world, Brad Johnsons of the world, Charlie Ward, Dad Busby, Danny Cannell, EJ Ponder, James, the highs of the high, you know what I mean? So now we got another guy that's going to add to the quarterback room, add nothing but quality competition, which is needed. And I can't wait to hear what he has to say. Joining us now is Mackenzie Milton, tapping in the show with me and James. Mackenzie, man, how you doing? First and foremost, how you feeling? How the leg feeling, man? How both legs feeling? What's going on? How your body feeling?
Feeling good, man. Coach Storm's been putting us through some good workouts, but, I've been running good, lifting good, so nothing more than muscle soreness. I'm ready to rock out, so super excited.
Excited for you too, Mackenzie. Man, I know that I can see the smile when you came online, man. You're excited. You're embracing what you're in right now, man.
I'm excited to talk to you guys, man.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
So, Mackenzie, when you look at currently being there in Tallahassee, one thing that I heard about you when you were there at UCF was the leadership that you provided on and off the football field. Right now, being with the guys and starting to really get accustomed to your new teammates, what what are some of the things you're starting to notice, and how do you plan on implementing your leadership skills with this current group of guys, knowing that you're a new addition to the team?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me right now, Brian, is just, leading by action, kind of like Kier said, being that first guy in, last guy out. And, I'm not trying to come in, be a rah-rah guy, nothing like that. I'm trying to show up, do my work, and be the best teammate I can be to these guys, whether it's, getting extra work, throwing routes, doing team on air before we start spring ball and stuff like that. So, I'm just trying to learn, be a sponge, learn this new offense. And like I said, just, get acclimated to these guys and, them get acclimated to me. Because, I haven't done anything here yet. So, I still got to prove myself.
No, man, you're going to prove yourself, man. You could just tell by your swagger. You could tell by the look in your eye that you're ready. Obviously, you're persevering, coming back from some adversity. What are some things that you believe that you've been able to add to your game during your time off, during your time bouncing back?
Shoot, just these past 2 years, just looking at it from a different lens, being on a headset, watching on the sideline, just from that aspect, seeing everything that goes into the game plans and stuff like that. Obviously, when you're playing, you see it, but from a different lens, you get to go into the defensive staff room. You get to spend a little more time in the installs and stuff like that. So you get to really know the X's and O's behind it and kind of find out stuff that you like, you don't like. So
right.
that's been a good thing for me, I feel like. And, I feel like Coach Norvell and Coach Dillingham, they've been good on listening to me on what I'm comfortable with running. So, it's been good. It's been good so far these first couple of weeks. And, I'm excited to get the ground rolling with spring ball and, just working on timing. And by the time September 5th hits against Notre Dame, I feel like our team's going to be really ready to roll.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You guys come out the gate with a big one. Notre Dame.
Yes, sir. That's impressive.
Sir. I asked Kier this question. I'm gonna ask you the same question as well. When you made it known that you will put your name in the transfer portal, clearly I know you had many options. You know what I mean? That were trying to get you to come to the university, but you decided to choose Florida State. Tell us why.
Initially I thought about taking my time. I put my name early in December. Thought about taking the whole month of December to figure out where I wanted to go, but it really only took me about 5 days to, figure out this is where I wanted to be. Obviously, the history of guys like you guys playing here and, the national championships, the Heisman Trophy winners, the Jim Thorpe Award winners with Deion Sanders, it speaks for itself. And then just wanting to get that back to where it should be. When I was at UCF, they were down pat before I got there. And, I feel like we're not far off. So, I knew they had some talent coming in here, and I believe in Coach Norvell, just competing against him while he was at Memphis. So for me, it was a no-brainer. So that's why I pulled that trigger quick. And, I knew I need guys around me too. So I knew signing day was coming up. So I want to get some good freshmen, want to get some good transfers to come in too. And, we were able to do that. So just kind of wanted to get that momentum going. Like I said, you're only as good as the guys around you. And, I feel like we got some good pieces to come in and, maybe fill some holes and improve our team. So I'm really excited about it, man. I believe in our coaches. I believe in our team. And, we just got to stack day after day, block by block, and I feel like we'll be all right.
Absolutely. Man, Mackenzie, so I think I'm in the same position that you, and I got a chance to experience, watch from afar, really prepare, understand what I like, what I don't like. And I love the part how you said that coaches allow you to add some things to the offense that complement you well. I don't want to get out in your business, but what do you think that you bring to this offense that we haven't seen here in Florida State in a while?
Just from pre-snap stuff, getting our O-line pro'd up, recognizing when safeties are morphing, when pressures are coming, getting us in and out of running pass checks. I feel like that's something that, I was able to do while I was playing. And the past 2 years I haven't played, so I've been able to learn even more. Mm-hmm. And like I said, once I feel like, I just learned the offense and it becomes second nature, it'll be like clockwork for us out there. And, that's why right now, we're doing team on air. you know, like you guys said, doing 7-on-7s on your own time, just working that timing down, getting that competition aspect going. That's something that's necessary if you want to win. And, you know, that's something I learned at UCF, and that's something I'm trying to bring to these guys. Just, you know, it's like you said, there's no secret recipe. You got to work. That's all it is. You got to work. Hard work works. So, you know, that's what our team's trying to do. And, you know, like I said, one day at a time, though.
Right. Yeah, well said. I can tell you this much, James. He says the right things.
Man, I'm excited to have you, Mackenzie. I'm excited for your journey as a Seminole. One thing you said with that competition, keep that competition mind state, man. We got a good group of young quarterbacks there at Florida State right now, but
yes,
you coming there to set the tone. You be a servant leader that you are, and you go out there and you win us some football games and you have fun while you're doing it. All right, my man.
I appreciate you, boss.
Yes, thank you, Mackenzie, for joining us.
Yes, sir.
Thank you also, James, for joining us, man, giving some quality sound insight. You know, man, I'm a big fan of yours as well, and I know you're a big fan of what Florida State is doing, so we salute you and everything that you got going on as well, and I definitely stay in contact with you. Hopefully, I get a chance to see you, you know, if things permit. We can get down and to the spring game a little bit.
I'm sure I'll run into you at an airport, at some random airport.
Hey, we always run into each other at the airport, right?
Always. Hey,
all right,
but
well,
man, like I always tell you, man, appreciate you what you're doing for this university, man. Always looking out for your players back in the day to your players in the future. Man, you're a GOAT for that. Keep on multiplying, brother. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Be safe. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our show. That concludes the show. Outstanding group of guys, you know, freshmen, transfers. You got a chance to hear two potential leaders talk individually, Kira Thomas and Mckenzie Milton. I'd like to give a shout out and thanks to all parties that were involved in making this virtual signing day happen. It was a big time blast. I had a fun time doing it. Anquan Bolden, Jameis Winston, Mackenzie, Kira Thomas joining us as well. And most importantly, you guys. I'd like to give a special shout out to the boosters that are watching us, potential boosters as well. You see it there on your ticker. Make sure you visit fsu1tribe.com to pledge your support. If you want to find out information, they have information for you there as well to be able to feel comfortable in making your pledge to become a Seminole booster. I'm a Seminole booster. I feel extremely proud in being able to say that because at one time I couldn't say that, but I'm so happy that I'm a part of Florida State, not just through words, but also through action as well. And we salute you guys for being able to join. We salute you guys for watching us, and we definitely salute you guys for cheering us for Florida State this upcoming season. But before we get to the season, September 5th, we got April 10th. That's the spring game. Hopefully, if everything is better when it comes to this pandemic, hopefully we can see a lot of you guys there cheering on our new group of Seminole players and Seminole coaches. Until next time, see you later.